I'm stuck in a weird situation. I don't even know how to start. I'm 34M, married to Harper, 28F, for over a year. I met her 2 years back when she was working as a waitress in a restaurant. I worked as a store manager for a supermarket. Her restaurant was a few buildings away from my supermarket and we used to take the same bus while returning from work. We took the last bus home. She lived one stop before mine. We wouldn't have noticed each other had it been a normal busy time. But that was the last bus on that route and it was empty. We commuted with each other for at least a month but didn't talk to each other. I used to notice her. She was beautiful and she didn't look like someone from the city. After a month, she didn't show up for 3-4 days. I thought she had left the job or changed her shift. When I saw her again, I couldn't help but ask her if she was on leave. She said yes. She was under the weather. That's how we started talking. She lived with a roommate who was a cashier at a different restaurant. We became friends and liked each other's company. We both were from remote places of the country and we got along well with each other. We didn't have family living in the city. Neither we had many friends. I was in the city for 3-4 years and she arrived 2 years ago. So our friends were mostly work friends. After a few months, my roommate got another job in a different part of the city and he moved out. Harper and I started living together. I made the first move. Not that I was desperate, but I loved her. She was very timid and eventually got dependent on me. I liked protecting her. After a year of knowing each other, I asked her if she wanted to meet my parents. She said yes. I took her with me on the next visit to my house. My family was delighted to host her. We stayed there for a day. She said she really liked my family. After a few months, I proposed to her for marriage. She said yes. I insisted on meeting her family. She had no one except her mother, an elder sister, and a niece. Harper was very close to her niece. This became a problem for me. We'll come to that eventually. I went to meet them. They were very sweet people. Yeah, one more thing. Harper was the breadwinner of her house. Her mother and sister worked at their farm but the money was not enough to sustain. So, Harper moved out to the city and got a job. I was proud to know this. I started respecting her more than before, that she was a responsible girl who was feeding her family and not like those city girls leeching on their BF or father's money. We got married after a year of knowing each other. It was a small intimate affair with close family and friends. We got married at my family church. That has been our tradition. Harper and her family were fine to come down to my hometown. Ever since we started dating, Harper used to talk about her niece. Let's call her Simi. She is 6YO. She talked about having a good life for Simi. I encouraged her because why not? It was such a noble thing to do. Harper said her sister has been a single mother. Her husband abandoned her when Simi was a few months old. Since then, she has been living with Harper and her mother. Harper said she never wanted to get married until she met me. She said that her previous boyfriends didn't like Harper's closeness with her niece and that she was providing for her. I didn't see that to be a problem. I saw that to be Harper's responsibility to take care of her family. And the way Harper took care of her niece was an act of good deed. Harper wanted to bring Simi to the city and get her admitted to a modern school. Simi was studying in a community school that lacked modern infrastructure. I asked her if her sister would be okay to let her small girl live so far from her. Harper said why not? It is for her own good future. Harper had a plan of taking a culinary course and switching her career to be a chef. That would pay her better. She had been saving money for that course. Harper used to contribute to the household expenses when we were living together, but after our wedding, she said she wanted to save extra to be able to take her course as early as possible. She said it was a matter of 3 months. I agreed to bear the expenses alone. It was difficult for me to bear for 2 people. I lived paycheck to paycheck with zero savings. After completing her course, she started hunting for a chef's job. She had a false notion that she would get a high-paying chef's job just after her course. High-paying jobs need experience. She got a job but the pay was not what she was expecting. It was slightly higher than what she used to get as a waitress. As soon as she got the job, she insisted on bringing her niece and getting her admitted to a good school. See, I'm not against the idea that she wants to educate her niece, but she has to be realistic in her approach. I asked her to wait for another year and get a better paying job before taking on such a huge responsibility. I don't want to sound greedy. Neither I'm behind her for money, but the thing is Harper had stopped contributing anything to the house. Earlier, she said she wanted to save for the course, but now she is saying that she is saving for Simi's admission fee. I have tried to make her understand that it is a big responsibility and she is clearly not ready for it. But whenever I bring up this topic, she gets upset and says that I'm acting like her previous boyfriends who were reluctant to let her take the responsibility. She says that she won't push Simi's responsibility on me, but how do I make her explain that I was indeed carrying her responsibility for over a year now? I know I'll be labeled as insensitive for not supporting her in this. Trust me, I really want to support her, but my earnings don't allow me to do so. I don't have a fancy job which can bear the expenses of the 2 of us. I also have this feeling that Harper would exhaust all her salary in Simi's school fees and I would have to bear the household expenses for 3 of us. I want to know the neutral perspective. Am I the a-hole for stopping Harper from taking her niece's responsibility? Update 1. Thanks for all the assurance. Sometimes I used to guilt trip that I was being insensitive towards Simi, but you guys are right. Harper was impractical about the situation. A few weeks ago, Harper visited her hometown, and this time, she brought Simi along. She didn't tell me that she was going to bring her right away. When I asked her, she said, "Yeah, ain't we discussing this for a long time?" She took Simi for admission, but it was denied. Simi couldn't crack the school interview. Her knowledge was weak for the class she was interviewing for. There was one more problem. The money was short. Harper decided to put Simi into private coaching to brush up her knowledge, and meanwhile took another job to save for the admission fee. As I dread, the household expenses fell on me solely. Now the situation has become such that Harper and I barely talk to each other. She has a day job as a chef and works as a waitress in the evenings. On her day off, she spends time with her niece. I didn't complain about it because I'm also getting distant from Harper. I don't know, I just don't feel that intimacy and love for her. Maybe because of the way she had been acting for the last few months. I don't come in her priority list at all. I feel she only cares for her family and her niece. I don't feel the love and warmth from her anymore. Whenever I confront her regarding the house bills, she requests me to bear them for some time until she gets Simi admitted to the school. She said that she had calculated everything. Her salary should be able to cover Simi's school fee and their share of the household expenses. I have tried to make her understand that it is not just about the school fees. There are thousands of other expenses in the school, like projects, excursions, and whatnot. I even suggested admitting Simi to another school with a lower fee bracket, but Harper insists on admitting her to an international school. I don't know why she is so desperate to admit Simi to the international school right away. I mean, the admission season is over. I asked her to wait for a year, but she looks in a hurry and is even ready to pay extra and get her admitted midterm. I don't know how long I will be able to control my anger before I explode. I'm not an impulsive or aggressive person, so I'm putting up with her as long as I can. I don't even know where this situation is leading to. Would appreciate any advice on dealing with this situation. Update 2 guys. It is not getting any better. My marriage is going downhill. 3 months ago, Harper got a head chef's job with a good joining bonus. The joining bonus and her savings were sufficient for Simi's admission. This time she passed her admission test as well, but one new concern came up. The school wanted to interview the parents as well. Harper didn't inquire about the admission procedure before. There's a new thing with this new age school that they want to verify if the children were coming from a decent family background, which would enhance their school culture. The school adopted this policy with the rising number of drug addicts parents in the city. They don't want children of such parents in the school because they are a bad influence on other kids. I know it's unfair for those kids, but that's how it is. The problem is Harper's sister has never been to school. International schools admit only those children whose parents are at least high school graduates. Harper came up with a weird solution to this problem. She wanted us to adopt Simi as our daughter. Yes. She said she would have adopted her as a single mother, but now that we are married, we have to adopt her as parents. I'm not against a noble act, but it should be my decision and not something that is rubbed on me, and Harper was doing that. She was rubbing her niece's responsibility on me. She doesn't realize that adoption means giving my name to her. It's a huge responsibility and I'm just not ready for it. After she asked me to volunteer for adoption, I asked her the difficult question which I was avoiding until now. I asked her about our own children. I told her that she was planning to spend all her income on her niece. Then what would happen when we have our own children? How do we manage the expenses then? I honestly told that raising a baby was just not possible for me alone. Even people doing corporate jobs need 2 people's income to raise children and lead a good life. She snapped back and said, "Let's not have children then." I lost my SHT and stormed out of the house, wishing her good life with her niece. That was the first time I ever lost my cool. She followed me outside and kept saying sorry. I shrugged her off and left the house. She called me non-stop and sent a voicemail that she didn't mean that. She just said in a moment of rage. She kept saying sorry and how much she loved me and all that. I came back home and told her that I wouldn't adopt her niece as my daughter. She tried to convince me, but I made a clear stand that I wouldn't. She didn't say anything further but is not happy with my decision. I know I should have had this confrontation with her regarding our children way before she brought her niece into our lives. Trust me, I never saw that coming. We discussed about having kids after 2-3 years and she was up for it. I don't know how else should I have figured it out. I don't know guys, if it's just me who is overthinking about the situation or if any of you also feel weird about her obsession with her niece. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking. I don't have any siblings, so maybe I don't know how it feels to love your siblings unconditionally. She said she loved her sister and her niece unconditionally. Update 3. I'm so glad that I posted my concern here. I get so many fresh perspectives which I would have never thought about. Yes, I took the advice and got a pie on Harper. If you guys didn't hint towards that angle, I would have never thought about it. I mean, people hire PL when they suspect them of cheating or anything. It was not there in my case. It was just a money matter over her niece, but glad I hired a pie. It indeed came out to be a cheating case. The agency found that Simi was actually Harper's daughter and not her sister's. Whatever she told about her sister was the actual story of Harper. She had a boyfriend in her hometown who impregnated her and fled when he got to know about it. By then, it was too late for abortion. Harper lived in a small town and this news could become gossip in no time. Harper's mother sent her to her sister. She stayed with her sister until Simi turned 1 or something. Meanwhile, her sister also faced problems with her marriage which eventually led to a divorce. Both of the sisters moved back to their mother with Simi. They told everyone that Simi was her sister's daughter. It was a convenient lie. They were surviving on working on farmlands and doing other odd jobs, but it was getting difficult for them to survive, so Harper moved to the city. She was the only one in her family to have completed her high school. She also wanted to build a good life for her daughter. Simi's birth certificate had Harper's name as the mother. I was just so disheartened to know this. I wept in the agency office. I threw Simi's birth certificate on Harper's face. She turned pale and stood numb. She fumbled and said that she was afraid to inform me before that she had adopted Simi right after her birth. She didn't know that I had the complete information about her background. She said that her previous boyfriends dumped her when they got to know that she had adopted her sister's daughter. So she had hidden this from me. She had the audacity to create one more lie on my face. I shouted at her that I knew all her f-king truth and threw the agency's full report in her face. She glanced through it and gave up. She understood that I knew everything and there was no point lying further. She broke down and admitted that all of it was true. I asked her why she didn't tell me the truth. She said she had a long-term boyfriend before me, but he dumped her when she disclosed her past. Basically, he didn't want to take the responsibility of her child. I asked her if it was pre-planned to rub the adoption thing on me. She said yes. I no longer felt sorry for her. If she had told me the truth before while we were dating, I might have agreed to adopt her daughter. There are so many men who marry single mothers only if she was honest about her past. But she chose to play around. I asked her to leave the house and told her that I would be divorcing her. She cried and begged, but I was unmoved. It was nighttime. I asked her to leave the next morning. I checked into a hotel that night because I didn't want her to manipulate me. Not that I wasn't strong at my decision, but that emotional drama was just so mentally draining. The next day when I went home, she was gone with her daughter. It's been a week now. I have filed for the divorce. Our marriage wrapped up within a year and I don't have any substantial wealth to fight for, so I'm hoping that the divorce would be smooth. Update 4. When the divorce papers reached her, Harper came running to my house. I don't know why it was such a surprise to her. She said she didn't expect me to divorce her on such a trivial matter. She had hidden her daughter, posed it as her niece, and then insisting me to adopt her. All these were trivial matters to her. She said, "I thought you were just angry for the time being, so I gave you the time to cool off. You should not make impulsive decisions. Let's fix this together," and all that BS. Her point was that she did not cheat on me, neither emotionally nor physically. She did not talk to anyone or sleep with anyone while she was with me. Fair enough, but hiding such grave information, isn't that cheating? I said whatever be it. She can call it whatever she wants. I wanted a divorce. Even if I forgave her for the lies, how do I trust her that she would prioritize me over her daughter? Or at least prioritize it equally. She was reluctant to have children as well. I said I had fallen out of love after knowing the truth, and even before that when she prioritized her niece/daughter before our marriage. She didn't even let me come close to her. Prior to the revelation, it was many months ago that we got intimate. She was either at work or tired because of the work. If this is not a red flag to call off the marriage, then nothing would ever be. She begged me that she loved me and would do everything to save the marriage. I told her she could plead and beg how much she wanted, but it was all falling on deaf ears. She left the house after that. The next day her mother called me and cried. She said that her elder daughter is already divorced and she cannot bear to see her younger daughter following the same path. She asked me to give her one last chance to Harper. They stood on the grounds that Harper was loyal to me. I apologized to her that she had to plead with me, but I cannot do anything about it. After a month of to and fro, she finally signed the divorce papers. I cannot feel better than this. It was so suffocating. My goodness. I thought divorce would be difficult for me, but thankfully my marriage was not that long to have a long-lasting grief. Also, over the last 3-4 months, I had grown out of love after she brought Simi into our house. It was a blessing in a guise that helped me get emotionally detached from Harper, and now this divorce seems nothing but liberating. One advice from me would be to run a background before falling for anyone. Doesn't matter how much you trust them or if you don't find them shady, run a background even before getting serious, because it's a downhill, brother. I will be online for a while if someone needs to catch up. I cannot thank you guys enough for the support I got from this community. Much grateful for it.